Hey everybody, welcome to WDW News Tonight. We're not doing the whole little cold open thing tonight because there's been some interesting things going on this week. We want to take some time at the top of the show to actually talk about some issues with the Walt Disney Company. I know we often have a lot of fun on this show, but we like to also talk about pressing issues as well, take a serious tone from time to time. Joining me right now, although it's just a green screen down there, Jason's there somewhere. But Nick LoCicero's over there in the other room. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Tom. By the way, that was actually a cold open.
I guess, yeah, it is. But the usual, the comedy.
Oh, I get it.
We're not doing that one.
The scream.
Yeah, the Tonight scream, yeah. Michelle Wargo's here as well. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Jason Diffendahl.
Hey, howdy, hey.
What background did you end up with?
Shanghai.
Oh, it is Shanghai. Okay. And David Smith.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. So, yeah, you have the concept art, which might be the closest thing you get to the real thing. But anyway, yeah, so it's been an interesting week. Obviously, the biggest news of the week is the whole Tom Staggs thing. Tom Staggs, who seemed like he was going to be next in line to become CEO of the Walt Disney Company, is now on his way out. And the belief is that most of the reason he's on the way out is Shanghai being behind schedule and over budget, but also apparently there are more things behind schedule and over budget, as we learned this week. Obviously, Rivers of Light, all the nighttime stuff in Animal Kingdom, Avatar probably for that matter as well. We don't really know yet at this point, but it seems further behind than it should be. And I know we make a lot of jokes about it, but I think it's becoming a more and more serious thing as all of these things in the Parks and Resorts division, which Tom Staggs was in charge of when these things started. Which is why the blame goes on Tom for all of these things. And of course, this week we also saw the Toy Story Land concept art. We're going to talk about that later as well. There were significant cuts to the Slinky Dog attraction, apparently other things around that land. We don't know if those are time or money related, but either way, we know they want to deliver that project on time because the park needs it. There are hiring freezes throughout the company. We've talked about the hours cut. It's kind of a big disaster company-wide at this point. Of course, a couple months ago we talked about the cuts at Imagineering and the shakeup there. Bob Weiss got put in charge, and they moved over the guy from Cruise Line because it's the only division that typically is on time and on budget. So it's an interesting situation. Of course, Disneyland Paris didn't have all this leading up to it, but certainly after it became a sort of financial disaster after opening, there was certainly ripples through the company and a lot of things happened from there. But what does everybody think about what's going on right now?
Well, I mean, Tom Staggs seems to me to be a scapegoat for a lot of the problems. I mean, it's very true that he was in charge of the Parks and Resorts division when a lot of these projects started. He was the CFO, so he was a very much numbers guy. But how much of what happened at Shanghai can he control versus, the Chinese government? Certainly Avatar Land has been, we suppose it's been behind schedule since, I guess since the day after it was announced.
Well, they said 2017, but at no point did we get a real time frame, but
No.
People are now suspecting that is behind. The only reason we don't really know it's behind is because we don't really have a date yet, but obviously now the things that were supposed to open, Shanghai was supposed to open last year, and Rivers of Light was supposed to open in 2 weeks. So now we're starting to realize things are behind, and they're starting to, kind of, it seemed like a minor story at the time, but when we talked about the hours being cut thing, we blamed Shanghai, but then suddenly there was the Imagineering thing, and
Yeah, there's been a lot of things.
things are rippling, and it's becoming clearer and clearer that this is a much bigger problem than it was.
Right.
originally.
And I mean, certainly Staggs bears the ultimate responsibility. I just don't know how much of it was his fault.
Well, I mean, when you're at the top of the Parks and Resorts division, that is your responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
Projects have to come in on time and on budget, and it's one of the most, if not the most important part of the job.
And it's also very visible in terms of to the rest of the world. I mean, it's much more visible that Shanghai is delayed and over budget than if a movie flops or something, because that happens, every month. So
And I think the biggest part of the problem was Staggs came into the Parks and Resorts division. Cars Land opened, and everyone's like, "Yay, fix DCA, yay!" But in fact, as much as many people hate the guy, Jay Rizzullo was in charge when that thing all got started, and that project came in on time, not on budget, but what from WDI ever has come in on budget anyway. So the thing is, now that there's these things that Staggs was in charge of from day one, that those things did not come in on time and on budget.
I mean, what seems weird to me, though, is that if it is because of Shanghai, because of these other overruns, it seems like a wild overreaction to take out your anointed successor, and it really hurts corporate stability. It hurts your entire succession plan. You have to start back at square one now to determine who is going to replace Iger when his contract runs out. And in all honesty, it can't just be that, because there are also other issues in the company in general. I mean, television numbers are heading down. ABC is not doing great. ESPN is having some financial difficulties with their cable deal. And even, movies are strong right now, but, you have another couple of flops, and even the movies numbers aren't going to be all that great. So I think if there's anything that may have caused him to go out, it's probably the combination of all those factors. And since he is the current CEO, COO, that probably, forced them to make a move like that, although I don't think he deserves the blame for most of that.
Yeah, I don't think he's got his hands in everything. I mean, he's sort of become the scapegoat for just everything that's gone wrong.
It also may be, and I've read this in a few places, that he's worked for Disney for 20-some years, but all except the last 4 or 5 were as the chief financial officer.
Yeah.
So it is certainly not beyond a possibility that he's not a creative guy, and he doesn't quite get what the company is. He doesn't quite see the company as a creative company, and he's more of a numbers guy. And
I'm not sure he is, though. Look how much got approved, and maybe they're looking at that again now, and maybe they're unhappy with the amount of spending. And we talked about it pretty much the moment he stepped in. We looked at the Parks and Resorts and said, hey, they're doing a lot of stuff simultaneously.
Right. No, but I don't think it's that. I think what I'm kind of saying is that he might not have the creative vision to lay out for the company for the next 10 years after Iger leaves. And if the board is concerned that he doesn't have the creative vision for the company that they feel the company needs, then they don't want him to be the successor. So it could have been that, Iger was happy with him, Iger was grooming him to be the next CEO, and the board, after seeing what he's done for the past 5 years, is like, wait a minute, we're not sure we want this guy as the CEO.
The other, no, go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say that's a great point, Jason, because it would be really interesting to know, was this an Iger decision? Was it a board decision? Because if it's a board decision, then that's almost a referendum on Iger's whole tenure and his stability.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think to some extent, I don't think it was certainly an Iger decision. It was somewhere in between either Iger and the board, or mostly the board. I kind of feel it wasn't an Iger decision. And there's nothing that's come out that says it was a Staggs decision.
Well, it does say it's a Staggs decision, but we know enough about the world of corporate espionage.
Right. No, but
anytime a major official is being fired, it usually says they're
always their decision
or stepping down. Yeah, because no one wants to have their feelings hurt, and that's the way the whole thing works.
But the Disney announcement was that it was like a mutually agreed termination.
Yeah.
That's actually much more harsh than, I want to spend more time with my family, which is what they usually say when they're just fired. The mutually agreed thing, to me, seems like, Staggs had some, role in it maybe, or I don't know. It's hard to say. It's kind of funny wording, but I think the board played a large role in it, and that's the story that hasn't come out yet. Is whether the board kind of forced Iger's hand in this, or what exactly.
So I got a question and a follow-up. I need something clarified. Now, is Parks and Resorts, is there just like one pool of money that all...
It's one division.
So, I mean, when Magic Kingdom or Walt Disney World makes money, that makes money for all the parks worldwide.
That covers Paris and Shanghai, yes. Yeah. That's
okay, well, so it does go into one pot. So if one's doing bad, drags others down. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah, yes. And that's why cutting the operating budget from Disneyland and Disney World in the end will make the bottom line look better after Shanghai.
So is it then possible? Because if it's not necessarily based on what one resort makes, I mean, is it as far as what they want to do with their resort? Their fate is tied to the other resorts around the world. So is it just possible that they decided to take on too many projects at once, and then when one hit a road bump, it just was dominoes and hurt everything?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I still don't understand why they don't operate them as separate cost centers, separate profit centers, but that's their corporate decision. But I think this may be a case where the board is getting extremely nervous about the financials with all these projects going on, and they're worried about Iger and Staggs doing more, spending as much money as they have in the last year.
And Shanghai is a really big elephant in the room at this point. So there's a number of things that are uncertain. Number one, it is uncertain if people are going to show up. I know they talk about opening day is sold out. We don't know how many tickets they actually sold.
But opening day would be sold out. Opening day would be sold out if they had like 2 attractions.
Well,
it's
at this
the
point,
day after opening day.
So the other thing going around is that nothing is working yet. Pirates doesn't work. Tron, it sounds like Tron's the only thing functioning. Tron and the spinner rides are about all that's working at this, and Mine Train. They're having a lot of issues with the park is still behind schedule, secondly. Number 3, the smog is worse than they thought. They haven't been able to get a clear picture. If you've looked at any construction pictures, they're all a little hazy. There's none of those beautiful sunny day Florida pictures. That's because sunny days don't happen in Shanghai. And they haven't figured, I don't know who picked this. That's the other thing I think that's all going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
When this thing opens is there going to be a lot of yelling about, just like with Eisner, who picked this location? Well, who picked France over Spain? It's going to be the same thing in this case where they're going to start arguing and pointing fingers about who picked Shanghai when we could have picked this other place. And that's what's going to happen.
That may be part of Staggs. I mean, certainly Staggs had an enormous. Certainly, Staggs had an enormous role in picking Shanghai.
As CFO, you have to play a big role in that decision.
So, it may not be the case that he's ultimately responsible, but
he's the last one left in power that was there for it.
So again, he's bears responsibility, and he's basically taken the blame for all of it, even though it wasn't solely his decision.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously Star Wars Land, we're not going to see cuts. They understand how important that is to the rest of the company.
Well, that, and they've already demolished half the park, so they can't...
That's true. It's already started. But Toy Story Land kind of was already almost there, and still yet we saw these, what we assume are very significant cuts to that. I mean, it's still happening, which is good, and you're still getting the 2 rides. It's just one ride has been significantly toned down or neutered, I guess you can say, for lack of a better term.
But like, how cost effective can that really be? And then in the long run, like, don't you want to put if you already have these plans for this top-notch product, why are you knocking it down a few notches? I mean,
because the point of view is, can we deliver a lesser product and still get the same response? And generally, for the Walt Disney Company, they actually can.
Yeah, that's
late
usually
90s, early 2000s. Sometimes show that, and in the end, they're still spending a tremendous amount of money. It's not like they're going to put garbage out there.
It's not like they're going to build DCA.
Yeah, and look at what they're cutting from. In the end, what they're cutting from are a couple of show scenes from a kiddie coaster, which is not nearly the most important of the 4 attractions being built in this park. The 2 other attractions in Star Wars Land are way more important. At the end of the day, whatever's in the kiddie area, the kids are going to love, and the adults are going to be happy if the kids are happy. And Star Wars is still, at the end of the day, all that's really necessarily important.
So what impacts, other than some small changes like that, are guests going to see? Are we going to see more steep price increases?
You're seeing them right now. Nick, I want you tomorrow, the rest of this week, I want you to open up your My Disney Experience app around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I want you to look at the wait time. They're understaffing, which makes wait times longer.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the wait times. I'm not even talking just about studios, because studios we can obviously argue it's because they're down attractions.
Yep.
That's not the case at Epcot. That's not the case at Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom has the most attractions right now that it's ever had in its history. So something's very wrong. The waits to get food at restaurants.
So is that just less cast members to serve people?
Less staffing.
Now, how are these early morning, late day offerings part of this, or do you think that was planned anyway? Do you think they're trying to grab money wherever they can now?
I think it's a cash grab.
Well, those were always planned. Like we saw surveys 2 or 3 years ago that had the Disney After Dark thing and had that morning magic.
Mm-hmm.
So they've always been planned. The fact that they got kicked in so quickly now probably has something to do with it, but it may not. I don't want to necessarily associate it because we don't know that for a fact. But it certainly is a hell of a coincidence that it's right. Yeah. I mean, no, I still don't think those are necessarily bad things. I don't think they make sense. I don't think they're necessarily cash grabs either when they both take place during times where the park would not be open anyway. It's non-EMH mornings and non-EMH nights.
Yeah, but I also think, I mean, if you want to define it as a cash grab, it's essentially the case. It's just like the reason that they expand the Halloween and Christmas parties to like every night of the week almost, because they make a lot of money from it.
But there's a demand for it. Like they're not going to continue to have these after hours and early morning events if people don't buy tickets. But if people buy tickets, can you? That's like saying to the New York Yankees, you need to lower your ticket prices. But then the Yankees look at you and go, we sold out most of our games last year. Why are we going to lower tickets? It doesn't, from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And you can't, as a consumer, be mad at them for offering something that people will buy.
I agree, absolutely. But it's still sort of a more blatant cash grab than the 10% increase in ticket prices every year, because we've come to
I don't think it is.
Like, is it more of a cash grab than raising the food prices every year? I'm not sure it is. I think it's all along the same line.
Well, no, I think you can argue that the ticket prices and food prices going up are somewhat related to inflation and standard increases in cost of operating, whereas this whole new thing that didn't exist before that costs $149, that's clearly more of a cash grab than an annual increase in things.
Yeah, but it's offering something at a time when it's not affecting other guests, and
sure, it's akin to the Pirate and Princess parties. You know, if the Pirate and Princess parties were popular, which I don't understand why they weren't, they'd still be happening this time of year, just like they did 10 years ago.
So what has to happen? Does Shanghai just have to open and be a success and then bring more money into the company?
But it doesn't sound like it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not.
Can they just cancel at this point?
I know people sometimes say I'm a little too positive. I think right now we've had a lot of really negative stories.
Wasn't this really scary? I mean, if Shanghai opens...
things are getting bad again, and they're getting bad again real quick. So here's the thing, and we're going to talk about this later. When we talk about things that were announced and canceled, more often than not, that leads back to Disneyland Paris. So if Shanghai flops, we have problems. We have big problems. Star Wars is approved, but everything after that is in serious jeopardy at that point. I mean, Star Wars, only because it's approved are we safe with that now. But
the budget's been allocated.
The future beyond that is in jeopardy. And I mean, Paris took a long time to recover from. Like, we really didn't recover from Paris until, like, 5 or 6 years ago when they started spending money and when Iger came in.
Well, I mean, Paris took a long time to recover, and then 9/11 hit, so then that was...
But they only slightly recovered from Paris, though, because you can blame the small amount of money they spent on DCA and Walt Disney Studios Paris directly on Disneyland Paris.
Absolutely, yes.
They decided to open parks on the cheap thinking, oh, this will work, and it didn't, and it put them further in a hole.
Now, are delays, say, based on are delays in, like, say, Avatar Land based on anything else outside of we just messed up and we came in over budget and we're not moving as fast?
It's bad management.
Yeah.
No one's paying attention.
But it's not like they're not. Are they? I guess what I'm asking, are they delaying things because other things are failing.
No, things are delayed because somebody didn't do their job correctly.
So in a lot of cases, and this is what normally happens at Imagineering with these projects, is they come up with a budget and a timeline for delivery, and they're usually very optimistic, as they are in Imagineering. And so at the point in time which they realize, oh no, we're either going to be behind schedule or behind budget, depending on which is more important to the company, they either go over budget and stick to the schedule, or they stick to the budget but they're late. And that's what normally happens with almost every Imagineering project. Because to their credit, I mean, it's nearly impossible to get an accurate budget and timeline for these projects that have never been done before. So it's not like it's really their fault. They're just trying to say, well, here's a pretty reasonable estimate, and they kind of overestimate all the time. And but these are projects that are nearly impossible to come up with accurate predictions for. And so that's just what happens.
But meanwhile, you can, in the same company, there's the guys over at Cruise Line who are building brand new ships that are coming in on time and on budget and then make a tremendous amount of money. It's hard for Imagineering to be like, no, we can't do that.
No, but the reason the Cruise Line ships do it is because they have a contract with a shipbuilder. They're not doing it in-house. If they were doing it in-house, they would seriously have very, very similar issues to Imagineering.
So two kind of questions here. You laughed about Disneyland Paris. Did they turn a profit today?
They have it. There's a couple of years ago they did.
So not every
year. The 20th anniversary years, I think.
So like this year they're not turning a profit.
No,
are they the only park that does not? Are they the only resort, worldwide?
Not necessarily. Hong Kong. Hong Kong only has a couple of the last.
Really?
Yeah, no, Hong Kong. That's why Hong Kong had the expansion.
So what about Disney World, Disneyland?
Well, those always,
They always turn a profit.
Yeah.
So they carry the other resorts.
Yes, they do.
In many ways, yeah.
Which is probably why they keep them in the same cost center.
And I guess that's what I'm wondering, because there's a lot of people saying that, like, we know you're making money hand over fist at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Why,
Why do you keep increasing prices in...
The same reason Donald Trump wants Mexico to pay for a wall.
Well, not just that. How does that not cover whatever problems are going on elsewhere, or is it they just want to keep their profit margin?
End, they still have to have that profit margin because the shareholders look at it and go, "Why is that profit margin not as big?" And then Bob Iger's like, "Well, my job's in jeopardy."
Yeah, publicly traded company, you need to be showing continual profit growth.
And the parks and resorts have historically been a huge cash cow for the entire company. I mean, there have been years where the movie division has completely tanked, and the parks and resorts were what paid to keep the company afloat.
Yeah,
so if the parks and resorts is not an income-producing division for the company, that's a serious problem because they've always been in the past.
Well, I know we're well into the show already, so I don't want to dwell on this too long.
Well, I guess real quick, an analogy that I would draw is like to an oil company, because people get mad at oil companies that raise their prices and they're going on world demand and things like that, but like you see that they're making so much money in profit because we see these profit numbers, but it's because they want to keep that profit margin so big. Sure, they don't have to raise the price to cover the cost increase, but they do.
Well, and it's
being a publicly traded company.
And it's really, I mean, that's just supply and demand as far as the oil companies go, where they charge as much as they can that the public will still pay. And in some cases, Disneyland is like that, and that's exactly where the tiered pricing at Disneyland has come from. Mm-hmm. That's an effort to mitigate demand on the most popular days and increase profit margin at the same time. And the problem is that for a park like Paris, there's only so much they can do to increase demand, short of letting people in for free, and that may still not even increase the demand enough. So oil, where you can ship it from one place to another where the demand is one thing, but Disneyland Paris, there's only so much you can do to increase demand short of, flying people in from all over the world for free vacations.
Like starting to sell wine in the park.
Yes. So, it's...
That happened.
It's a bit different than an oil company in terms of the Disney parks are fixed in location and
Right.
can't be moved. But yeah, you're right, and the peak pricing is exactly a supply and demand thing.
Yeah, and I'm more talking about the public perception thing. I mean, it's to most people, it's like how could you not cover these little bit of a setback? I mean, you must have the money, you must have the cash in the company to cover this setback, but they just don't want to see their profits cut into.
Right. They do have the cash in the company to cover the setbacks, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that would decrease any profit for the company overall, and so therefore
the value of the company
goes
down.
But so they need to make that up by decreasing costs as well.
Yeah. So in review, everything to the right of Jason's skull is behind schedule. Just so clear, there you go. All of that.
Right of my
everything
skull.
to the right of Jason's skull.
That's over
behind
there.
schedule.
Where is that? Over there or over there?
No, the other. No, the people's right. So. So
well, that's Tron.
The larger portion of the park.
Right.
The rest
That's
of the park.
all.
Yeah.
So Pirates is back there.
Point straight up.
So Pirates is over there.
Yeah. No, point straight up. Now that's the only part that's done. Whatever's to the left of Jason's finger is what's actually like ready for June 15th.
Wait, the castle's not ready?
No, just Tron and the
Tron.
little spinner. That's it.
And the
yeah. Anything that Jason touches.
Why is the castle not ready?
I don't know. The same reason Rivers
They
of
just
Light
didn't build it yet. Okay. Oh, I'm just wondering.
Anyway, Jason and David, thank you very much. We'll see you guys again hour 2. We have a really interesting discussion about things that were announced but never built. We're talking about fun Disney projects all time that were announced and weren't built. So thank you guys very much.
That's right.
We have a fun show. We are going to get to some comedy. There is some lighthearted stuff coming up, and I think Michelle's going to tell you all about it as we go to commercial break.
Coming up, we play the 999 Happy Hunt game. Also, Tom and Nick ate stuff. Find out what. And we discuss things that never happened. WDW News Tonight. We'll be right back.
Hello there. I'm WDWNT's Patrick Hackett. And when I heard that Walt Disney World was charging for premium parking spaces, I was absolutely appalled. I was appalled. I didn't think of it first. That's right, from the company that brought you paid DRs, we now bring you Patrick Hackett's Piggyback Service. You may be wondering, what in the world is Patrick Hackett's Piggyback Service? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, for a simple nominal fee of $1,200, we will piggyback you anywhere you would like to go. We have a team of sturdy young men and women who are ready to piggyback guests from the biggest poo size to the smallest Ant-Man or woman. For $35, you could park close to the Magic Kingdom or Epcot. But for $1,200, you'll never have to stand in a queue again, as our piggyback experts will take you all the way up into the ride vehicle. Heck, they may even ride with you to make sure you have your piggyback waiting for you in the exit queue as well. How does it work? Simple. People need money. I need money. You give me money, I get people to piggyback you around the park. We have a saying here at Patrick Hackett's Piggyback Service: why pay for parking when you can pay for piggybacks? That'll be $1,200. Coming soon from Patrick Hackett's Piggyback Service, Ron Diana's Rickshaw.
J.P. Morgan is now holding a record 55 million ounces of silver. Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these fat cat bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting another financial crisis, and over time, gold and silver win. Silver is trading below its production costs and is predicted to double by 2020. At Capital Gold Group, we offer gold and silver for direct delivery. Plus, our specialty is IRA rollovers for the ultimate in IRA security. Be one of the first 20 callers today to receive our free gold and silver buying guide. Capital Gold Group is A+ rated with a Better Business Bureau. So call now and see what investing in gold and silver can do for you. Call now, 800-430-7568, 800-430-7568, 800-430-7568. That's 800-430-7568.
Do you have enough drinking water at home or work for whatever life throws at you? This is Florida, and you can never have enough good, wholesome drinking water on hand for meetings, family gatherings, even Mother Nature's wrath. Be prepared with Carolina Highland Mountain Spring Water delivered directly to your home or business. Call 407-851-7144 or online at carolinabottled.water.com. There are no delivery fees, no contracts, and now take advantage of their Be Prepared delivery special in individual bottles, dispensers, and coolers. The purest water delivered to your doorstep. Guaranteed. Get started now. Call 407-851-7144, 407-851-7144, or online at carolinabottled.water.com. Refreshing taste, unrivaled mountain spring water. Call 407-851-7144, online at carolinabottled.water.com. Refresh today.
Live from Orlando, Florida, this is WDW News Tonight. Now, here's your hosts, Tom Corless and Nick LoCicero.
Yay! We get to be funny now after we told everyone the end is here. Yay!
She doesn't trust me with the sound effects clapping. I mean, the real audience clapping.
I don't trust you either. I'm wanted in 12. Never mind. Anyway, welcome.
I'm not allowed to clap for myself? Come on.
Oh, that was for yourself.
Yeah.
The audience claps for you.
Anyway,
That's partly for you. I mean, probably mostly for you. I don't know who wants to watch me and Tom.
I don't
Well,
know.
they didn't put my video up, so.
Oh.
Oh, that's Jason's fault.
That's somebody else.
That's
yeah.
our
Not
director, Jason.
Not taking blame for that one.
Anyway, he's busy studying the map of Shanghai that now just has his name on it. Anyway.
I just realized I got my. Oh, I can't say it. I told you not to say it. Your new name for Run Disney people.
Oh, yeah.
I told you not to say that word.
Yeah.
So
nope, now you can't say
I
it.
can't
You
say
told
it
me I
either.
couldn't write it into a joke. You don't get to say it. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tom Corless, and you're not. Welcome to WDW News Tonight, or as we call it, heir apparent to WDW Radio. Anyway.
I like that one.
Yeah. There's Nick. Michelle's
Hi.
in there. Let's talk about some
I am.
news. We're terribly behind schedule as well. So before I'm asked to step down, let's move on. Speaking of people who step down, Tom Staggs, who was named the chief operating officer of Disney last February, unexpectedly stepping down from the role the company said Monday. You know, everybody, do you know what that sound means? That is the official hashtag Thanks Shanghai gong. That's what that is.
Sure is.
Brought to you by Carolina Mountain Water, of course. Every time we talk about something that is the fault of Shanghai Disneyland, you'll hear, Nick, can we play it again? You'll hear that gong. Yes. So anything that's the fault of the Shanghai Disney project, which is good because I don't have another Tom Staggs joke. Let's move on, shall we? Strike people with a gong.
That's how you do it.
It's been a busy week.
Worked for the Gong Show.
It did work for the Gong Show. So in case you were living under a rock this weekend, many offerings at Hollywood Studios closed on Saturday, of course, including the Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show and the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie playset adventure. One, of course, was an action-packed attraction filled with high-octane excitement that always left you wanting more. The other was the Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt.
That it was.
Oh, boy.
I
Farewell.
don't know why you guys hate on that so much.
Yeah, Tom.
Because it was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
It was good once.
Once. Yeah, see, once. Once it was great.
It was entertaining. The first time you saw it, it was entertaining.
I will agree with you there. I agree with that.
Yes.
Tom
But,
does.
All right.
but much like Nick, the more you see it, the less you want to see of it. But anyway.
Oh.
But seriously,
That's
though,
good.
there were people chanting LMA at the final show. Like, the whole crowd chanting LMA. That's like if people showed up at Disneyland in 2002 and chanted Rocket Rods. Or people in America right now chanting Donald Trump.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Poor Donald this show.
But seriously,
Hates to be
though,
him.
with these people chanting, I like felt dirty sitting there, you know? It's like people next to me were chanting for George Lucas to come back and direct Star Wars. I mean,
George.
jeez. Anyway, after the show was over, you probably saw this. All the crew from LMA, they jumped into the waterway where the jet ski scene took
Yeah.
place. Yeah. This wasn't out of celebration or anything. They just wanted to get the stench of the show off.
Oh, dang.
That is my
Yeah,
favorite.
my friend was one of the drivers there.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw. Sad day for him?
Oh, he had posted like last week that it was his last drive.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat has said the Shanghai Gong is racist.
I told you.
I don't think it is.
I said it might be.
It's not. It's not. I'll make an Irish drinking.
It's less
later.
racist and more stereotype.
Yeah. All right. But it's. How about this? It's distinctly Asian, but authentically Disney. Let's go with that, shall we? There it is. Is it any more racist than Reflections of China? Can we have that discussion right now? Because Confucius is pretty racist. But anyway, I'm not going to get into this now.
Again, not racist,
Yeah.
stereotype.
Yeah. So I did manage, luckily after Lights Wonders Action happened, I did manage to catch the final moments of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground, which I was excited about. That was the one thing I was really sad about. I was going to try and be the last adult to go down the infamous Kodak slide, but several much sadder looking adults were already pushing over children by the time I got there.
I want video.
It really was happening.
I'm sure it was.
It was really bad, Nick. I heard one of the adults yell, "Move over, kid, I'm going down the film next." To which the kid, of course, replies, "What's film?" He also then asked, "What's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?" I don't know what that is either.
More important question, yeah.
The Streets of America also now closed, but in fairness, that was kind of closed 9 months of the year anyway, so no one noticed. All right. But more people were upset this weekend about the loss of the carrot cake cookie from Writer's Stop.
Yeah, you said it wasn't going.
Even though it can be found elsewhere in the park. This is like if you closed Horizons and reopened it 20 feet from where it used to be. People would still have a problem. In
Miss
fairness,
Horizons.
yeah. But if it opened 20 feet away, would it really be that bad?
No, I'd be super happy.
See? In fairness, though, the Writer's Stop Lounge does make me wish I had just paid $30 for a carrot cake.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather reincarnate LMA than eat there again. More on that lounge later.
I love your title to your article.
Oh, it was Writer's Stop Lounge. It should just stop, or probably should just stop. Something like that. So yeah, after all that stuff closed on Saturday, walls went up on Sunday for Toy Story Land at the end of Pixar Place. The walls include concept art for the new land, including one new piece of artwork that noticeably has many of the features of the original art now missing from it, leading us to believe there has been significant cuts to the project. Hashtag thanks Shanghai. Turns out this isn't true, though. In the backstory, Sid just came over to Andy's and blew up a few of the toys before the land opened. Yeah, that's the ticket.
I like that. That's a good storyline.
Yeah, he did. He came over, he blew up the toys. You'll find, like, pieces of them. So it looks like there might be less to see along the Slinky Dog coaster ride if the concept art is to be believed. Yeah, they're so desperate for props for the ride that they're just going to keep the Earful Tower. Among the props they are keeping, though, are many larger-than-life Toy Story characters, including Woody. I mean, that isn't all that impressive, since you could also see a lot of giant Woodies in Orlando if you visit OBT. So, I mean,
Heyo. I wouldn't call them giant.
Oof.
Oof.
Of course, the MGM mug tonight, because the park's mostly closed, in memory. How many of these things are actually still there?
Or Orange Blossom Trail.
Yes.
People don't go there for the men anyways.
Moving on. 2 new Star Wars entertainment offerings debuted this weekend at Hollywood Studios. The first is a battalion of stormtroopers led by Captain Phasma to the center stage. Well, at least we thought they were stormtroopers. They're actually just the construction guys coming back from break. Just like, all right, 15's over. The Republic will bow down to the First Order of General Contract. You were way too early.
I was.
You're way too early on that. Meanwhile, the other new show. I don't think it has anything to do with Shanghai.
Well, it's bad. So the easy thing is to blame Shanghai, Tom.
I suppose. Anyway, if this show's bad, we could just blame Shanghai.
See, now I'm going to throw a disclaimer in there. That's written into the script, and I thought the show was good.
Yeah, we can talk about this later.
Are we? Are we talking about it later?
Can.
Okay, I thought this was the time to talk about it. So
let me get through the.
Oh, you want to do more jokes?
Let me do the jokes.
You want to do more jokes? Okay.
And then we'll talk about it.
I'll do your jokes.
And the other
jokes? Oh.
Thank you, Michelle. The other. You can't say that word because I'd use that word right now. But anyway, the other show is Star Wars: A Galaxy Far, Far Away. The problem with this show is it's not far, far away enough.
Gosh.
Tiki room type humor. So I want you to imagine the Star Wars Christmas show, and then imagine Light Magic. Imagine if they had a baby. That baby would be 8 times more tolerable than this particular show. Yeah. So the show essentially is a series of clips followed by short photo ops with the Star Wars characters on stage. The only problem is that the original DCA entrance was more photogenic than these photo ops.
Oh, come on.
That's the problem. It's bad. It's like someone spoiling that Han Solo died. Like, I'm pretty sure Kylo Ren only killed him because Snoke told him Han, like, created this show. Like, Han was the executive producer. But, you know, there is a silver lining. There is that immobile BB-8 at the end.
Very cool.
He would move, but, you know, Shanghai. That's where the money went to make BB-8 move.
Sure.
Went to Shanghai.
Well, now I'm really mad.
Talking about BB-8, do you want to talk about the show? You like the show, didn't you?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was nothing spectacular, but you know what? I thought it was done well. I thought it gave the fans what they wanted. It paraded characters out there on the stage. It had interesting video backdrops. I like the montages. I like the music. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not something I'm going to have to catch, but honestly, I'll watch it a few times.
It's like LMA. You see it once and never again.
I want to see those characters on stage. I liked it. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything spectacular.
It wasn't good. It's the opposite of good. So BB-8, talk about BB-8. Oh, thank you again, Michelle, for bringing us down.
Love it.
When we needed it most.
When we needed it most, yeah.
So, hey, BB-8 took a peek behind the Star Wars land construction walls at Disneyland this week.
Yep.
What did he find? Well, other than a project that's further along than Avatar, he found a mound of dirt. Or it could have just been the leftovers from Big Thunder Barbecue. It's hard to tell.
Is that our Avatar joke of the week?
No.
There's more?
There's more. So hold on.
I almost sent the blue people crazy.
Yeah. So let's talk about Rivers of Light. Well, in this case, I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong about the opening date for that, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Celebrating?
What are you celebrating?
That you admitted you're wrong.
What?
People like to celebrate that. Woo.
Are you excited?
Not yet.
Jeez.
Favorite guys at the end there. Woo!
Oh, I'll wait.
It's not often when Tom's wrong. So we like to celebrate when he is.
Next time you'll read the rest of the bit I wrote.
Yeah, probably. Probably should have.
But anyway.
You wrote an elaborate thing there. I did my own thing.
Yep. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
It's all good.
So I like those like two really delayed woos at the end of that.
The random clap. That's me.
That's what makes it.
Thank you. So anyway, if I can actually read the story, quote from Disney, with the expansion of Disney's Animal Kingdom, we're excited to give guests even more opportunities to celebrate the magic of animals and nature as day turns into night. While we'd hoped to debut these offerings on April 22nd, unfortunately, they will not open as planned on that date as we decided to give the team more time to bring these innovative experiences to life in a way we know will exceed our guests' expectations. We'll share more information about timing by mid to late May. So in short, Disney's not even going to share a date for any of this until mid to late May. So basically the show is way behind schedule.
How far behind schedule is it?
It's so far behind schedule that Avatar might open first.
Lots of dancing in this show.
Unfortunately, it's all from Nick.
Some good-looking moves there, Nick.
Thank you.
Ladies, he's single.
It's warm in here.
So the time...
It's me at the club as well.
What club is that? Club Disney?
You've never been to a club. Don't ever act like you've ever been to a club.
They've had to, he's not allowed
That's
within
true.
100 yards anymore, but he's been there.
This is why I don't go to clubs.
Yeah, that's why. Anyway, the time...
You want to be my wingman, Tom?
Nope. To tide you over until the new nighttime offerings are actually running, Disney did share video of the Tree of Life testing its new nighttime lighting effects. And if you booked a trip for April 22nd, you could just watch that video over and over until you feel better about it. Yay!
Come on, it's still Earth Day.
No?
No?
I was going to thank Shanghai, but all right. Anyway.
Oh, that's a thank Shanghai?
I was pointing to the sound, which of course is the only way you can point to sound.
I can't see you
Point
in there.
above you. What you're doing.
I was actually going by the script.
Anyway. Disney really... Now you're going by the script. Now. Not the whole bit I wrote for you that you skipped over. Anyway, we're behind.
Improved.
Disney released more details on Tiffin's this week, the apparently not delayed new restaurant in Animal Kingdom. The adjacent Nomad Lounge is going to have a interesting feature with beautiful waterfront views. The lounge focuses on storytelling and also on guest travels with large banners as quote-unquote artistic representations of answers to travel questions written on the perimeter wall. For instance, you might find questions such as, what do you always do when traveling? Or when might anything in this park actually open? Why are you laughing over the joke? Don't laugh over the joke. Come on. While the answers of Disney experts are displayed, guests also have the opportunity to purchase a tag that supports the Disney Wildlife Conservation Fund and write their own answers to the questions to display above the bar. That's right. You now even have to pay to answer questions. Thanks, Shanghai. As for Tiffin's, a detailed map within the restaurant's entryway sets the stage for an immersive dining experience, although the map does seem a little small from what I've seen. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's actually the map of Hollywood Studios. That's why it's so small. Anyway. Disney describes the interior design as a gallery you can dine in with artwork that is a direct result of travels to Africa, Asia, and South America, which influenced the design of the park. The ideas of the park's design team, including sketches, photography, architecture, and textures, are all presented in a way that's uniquely Disney. Makes sense since this is just a converted Imagineer work trailer. Get it? Because there's just a bunch of sketches. And the trailer's there because they're behind schedule. So yeah, the menu includes coffee and the hipsteriest pastries you can imagine. Yep. Anyway, moving on. Worst joke of the night. What? Starting April 10th, a series of very important upgrades will be made to your FastPass Plus experience at Walt Disney World. Most important upgrade, the app might actually work.
Maybe.
After booking your initial 1 to 3 FastPass Plus reservations, you'll now have the option to book anywhere between 1 and 3. Guests will now be able to book an additional and even further FastPass Plus reservations through the My Disney Experience app. These can be made one at a time, so once you finish however many of your initial reservations you made in advance, you can then book another. So whenever you finish whatever was on your itinerary, you can then open the app and make more. And with every additional FastPass Plus, you're able to book again just one at a time. And again, once the previous are completed as the system works now, but you'll be able again to do it through the app. With the upgraded system, guests will be able to choose an attraction and time for the attraction simultaneously instead of the computer internally spinning a wheel of chance when deciding what times to give you. Other new features include the ability to remove individual guests from a FastPass Plus reservation and the ability to cancel a single FastPass Plus attraction reservation instead of all.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. Another new feature, the app may open. Jeez. With these changes implemented, the Quick Picks FastPass Plus option will be removed. Guests will see significant changes to the look of the app and kiosk interface on April 10th, but larger changes to the app to make it look and function more like the new official Disneyland Resort app are expected at a later date. That later date will then be announced and then reneged on several times. Thanks, Shanghai. Oh, boy. Are we going to take a break?
I think that's probably best for everybody.
Michelle, take over.
All right, next up, we find out what Tom and Nick are angry about, and we take your calls to play a new game, 999 Happy Hunts. Call now to play 407-774-8255.
Are you worried about losing your home to foreclosure? If you've been threatened with foreclosure or received legal papers from your bank, you have approximately 30 days to respond. If you do not respond, you could lose your home. You have rights. Act now to protect your rights. You can stay in your home. Many times you can even modify your loan. The bottom line is you can get past this, but you must act right now. Call National Foreclosure Defense right now at 800-989-1838, 800-989-1838. If you've been served by your bank and you're worried about losing your home to foreclosure, now is the time to fight back and save your home. Time is limited, so call right now. 800-989-1838, 800-989-1838. Call the professionals at National Foreclosure Defense right now. 800-989-1838.
Hi, Bill Files here, GM of Salem Media Group Orlando. You've heard me talk about half-price tuition, a great new program we have where folks just like you can purchase tuition to the finest Christian schools in Central Florida at half price. No catch, no kidding. I want to share with you some comments from a listener who recently purchased tuition for her daughter. This listener called me, and once she found out that the program was for real, she and her husband decided to buy it. She said, "Before we hang up, I wanted to thank you and to share with you that my husband and I have been praying for a way to send our girl to Christian school. Your half-price tuition program has made that possible. Thank you." This is what it's all about. If you or someone you know could benefit from our half-price tuition program, I hope you'll give me a call, 407-618-1760, or visit our website, AmazingRadioDeals.com. Half-price tuition, another positive idea from Salem Media Group Orlando.
Schools like the Geneva School and Altamont Christian School are available right now. Go online to AmazingRadioDeals.com.
And we're back. Welcome back to WDW News Tonight, live, AM 1520 WBZW, and at listen, WDWNT. Let's talk about the game real quick. It's 999 Happy Hunts. Looks like we have a caller already. So the prize tonight is pretty neat because I managed to pick these up, and now they're gone. This is the Disney Parks exclusive variant cover of issue number 1 of Disney Kingdom's The Haunted Mansion from Marvel. These are history. These are gone. They don't exist anymore. It's a cover that was only done for the parks, now sold out, and we have one for the winner of tonight's game. Tonight's game doesn't require you to do trivia or anything of the sort. You literally just have to pick a letter and a number, essentially, and find the Happy Haunts. What we did is I printed out a map of Walt Disney World. We turned it into a grid, or Nick did. I'm sorry. Nick printed out a map of Walt Disney World. I made the grid. Nick put the numbers. So let me explain the game a little bit.
It's all good.
Do we have someone to play?
We have 2 contestants, yeah.
Let's bring the first one on, and I'll explain the rules, and we'll figure it out.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to bring on Andrew.
We can be angry next hour.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, Andrew, how you doing tonight?
Hey, doing all right.
Where are you calling from, Andrew?
Calling from Illinois.
Illinois. All right. Well, thank you for listening tonight. And Tom's going to explain the rules for 999 Happy Hunts.
How many boxes we let them pick? Do we decide?
Three.
Sorry?
3 boxes? All right.
Yep.
All right, so here's the way it's going to work. 999 Happy Hunt, the way it's going to work is there are 999 or more Happy Haunts hiding around the Walt Disney World Resort. You have to find the most of anyone playing tonight. Whoever has the most at the end of the night is going to win this fantastic variant cover Haunted Mansion comic. Ooh. So what we did is, I'm going to hold it really far away so you can't see the numbers, but it's there, and I'm going to shake it around. So it's a map of Walt Disney World, which we broke into a grid. The letters go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you have between A and G and numbers 1 through 9. So what you have to do is give me a letter and a number. It's pretty much like Battleship. You're going to give me a square, essentially, and I'm going to tell you how many haunts are in that square. You get 3 of these. We're going to total up the number of haunts in the 3 squares you pick. And again, whoever has the most at the end of the night is going to win. Two squares?
No, we have about 2 minutes left.
Oh, we have 2 minutes left. Yeah, that's fine. We have enough time. Don't do that to me again. Anyway, so the idea is you pick 3 squares, you find haunts. Whoever has the most haunts at the end of the night wins. One of the squares on the board of the, what is it? We figured 63 squares on the board.
So.
One of the squares has 999 haunts in it, so you automatically win at that point. So if anyone picks that, the game is instantly over. So let's hope that doesn't happen right off the top. But for our contestant, that might be good. So what we're going to ask you for is give me a letter and a number again, A through G.
G.
And number 1 through 9.
How about H8?
No, not H. A through G.
Oh,
A, B, C, D, E, F, or G are the letters.
Okay.
Apparently this is more complicated than we thought it. That's okay.
Okay, F8 then.
What was that?
F8?
FH. What did he say? I don't know what he...
F8.
F8. All right. I can't even hear him. F8. You've uncovered 12 haunts.
12 haunts.
I need something thicker. I got it.
No.
We're taking a break.
Yeah, we're gonna.
But he has 2 more to pick.
And he can do that in a moment.
I hate this show.
It's not my fault
We'll
it took Andrew so long. WDW News Tonight. We're back in a couple minutes.
Celebrating 50 years as Apopka's hometown station. 1520 WBZW.
Okay, bye.
Apopka, Orlando. Community events, financial news, weather, traffic, and more.
A service of Salem Media Group.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. GOP presidential candidate Ted Cruz appeared today in New York after his big victory last night in Wisconsin. Cruz says New Yorkers know exactly what he means by the phrase New York values.
They're the values of liberal Democratic politicians like Andrew Cuomo, like Anthony Weiner, like Elliot Spitzer, like Charlie Rangel, all of whom Donald Trump has supported.
But Trump tonight explained what New York values were like when the city bonded together after the 9/11 attacks.
The bravery that was shown was incredible. We all lived through it. We all know people that died. And I've got this guy standing over there looking at me, talking about New York values with scorn in his face, with hatred of New York.
Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton's rallying supporters in Pittsburgh, warning that Republicans are going to do everything they can to take back the White House. The Democratic presidential hopeful spoke to a crowd today at Carnegie Mellon University. Hackers behind a cyber attack on one of the Washington, D.C. area's largest healthcare networks exploited a vulnerability that had gone unfixed for 9 years.
That despite multiple warnings from the government and other security companies to fix the problem. No word from MedStar on why the warnings were ignored. It's just the latest in a string of so-called ransomware attacks on medical systems. That's where the hackers demand payment to restore access to computers. So far, there's no indication that MedStar paid to get their systems back online.
Correspondent Wally Hines reporting. Federal money left over from the fight against Ebola will now go to combating the threat of the Zika virus. The Obama administration says most of the $589 million would be devoted to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for research on the virus and Zika-related birth defects. On Wall Street, the Dow by 113 points, the Nasdaq rose by 77, the S&P advanced 21. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is Eric Metaxas. You know I consider a college education important, but for many, leaving home to go off to college is not feasible, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Liberty University's online programs. Right now, more than 95,000 students around the world are enjoying the same quality education as Liberty's residential students in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty is consistently ranked among the top 10 online universities and offers hundreds of degrees. Liberty's online classes are taught in flexible, virtual classrooms by engaging and challenging professors. I know some of them. I've had them on my show. For them, teaching is more than a job, it's a calling. If you're looking for an affordable, quality college education without leaving home, check out Liberty's online programs. Just dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keywords Liberty University. Secure your education from the world's largest Christian university without leaving home. Dial pound 250 right now and say the keywords Liberty University.
All right, ready for hour 2 of WDW News Tonight?
Are hopelessly behind schedule, and so I will be stepping down at the end of this show.
Aww.
Anyway, we got so much stuff left.
But you know whose fault that is.
Thanks, Shanghai. Let's get back to our game. Kill our theme song.
Let's do it. Let's bring. We're playing 999 Happy Hunts, a new game that we have tonight here on WDW News Tonight. We have a couple contestants in line here.
Playing for the Haunted Mansion issue #1 variant cover, available only at Disney Parks and now sold out.
And Andrew, we had you go in here, and you were playing with us. Now, your first choice netted you 12.
Was
12 Happy Hunts.
And they were in F8. It was F8.
It was F8.
I just couldn't hear him because I'm senile and old. But anyway.
Now, you know what? Can people pick ones that have already been picked?
No.
Okay.
No, if you do, I'm going to disqualify you.
Yeah.
So you better pay attention that F8 has been played already.
Well, no disqualification. They get to choose again.
I'm in a bad mood. You will be disqualified.
Oh,
you know whose fault it is if you get disqualified? Shanghai. You've been Shanghaied, in fact. All right, please pick another. Again.
All right. How about D5?
D5.
You sunk my battleship.
No,
I had to make that joke.
17 haunts. There are 17 haunts in D5, which is, it looks like that's the boardwalk. Yeah. Or no, Yacht and Beach. Yacht and Beach are in that square. So you got 17. How many haunts is he up to?
That brings up his total to 29 haunts.
29 haunts. All right, so you get to pick one more, and we'll see how your total.
One more. Let's see. How about B2?
B2, 10 haunts.
10 haunts!
In B2, which is like the 18th hole of the golf course, Palm and Magnolia.
All right, so that brings Andrew's total up to 39 haunts.
The 1 week we actually have sound effects. It's for the dumbest game. Anyway. Dumbest. Like, Nick, I'm going to make a grid on a map. All right, we didn't have time. We're going to have match game, but I'm flying a helicopter this week. I can't. So just draw a grid on a map. Anyway.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Andrew. Anything you want to add to our Disney World discussions or anything that we've been talking about tonight?
No, not really.
Didn't think so. All right, very good.
Thank you for tuning in and hashtag thanks, Shanghai.
Yeah.
All right.
Andrew, hold on the line. I'll get your phone number in case you're a winner tonight.
Sure.
All right. Next up, Tom, we have Mr. Gabe.
Gabe,
try out this,
#1 fan of WDW News Tonight.
I think he is.
Let's see how many haunts you can find, Gabe. Again, it's a grid, much like Battleship, but the letters are A through G and 1 through 9 because that's just how it worked out when I started using the ruler that Nick gave me. So you're going to give me a square, again, a letter A through G and a number 1 through 9.
Okay. I'm going to say A4.
A4 is going to give you 18 haunts.
18 haunts.
Yes.
A3.
A3 is going to give you 11 haunts.
11 haunts.
Let's see. Wait, what were the letters? A through G?
Yes.
E6.
E6 is going to give you 10 haunts.
10 haunts.
Does that put Gabe in the lead? What?
I was trying to get Haunted Mansion.
Is it a
in
tie?
time.
Don't tell me it's a tie. You and your random numbers. You've ruined another game.
Gabe has 39 haunts.
Wait, was I not right?
Wait, no, you can't be wrong. You just pick numbers.
Oh, I know, but is there...
You're tied, because Nick... So let me explain again this stupid game we came up with. Nick just randomly put numbers in squares.
Oh.
So
okay.
it just so happens that, of course, we have 2 contestants, and you're tied.
We have a third contestant.
Let's see. If they get 39, I'm walking out of the studio. I want you to know that now.
But we're playing all night.
I'm going to be announced and never happen. That's what's going to happen.
Let's figure out.
Gabe, stay on the line, because we might have to cut this comic book in half.
The game goes all night, Tom. We have plenty of haunts to go around.
I'm just being a jerk. Go on. Next.
All right, we're going to bring out our next contestant. Ashley's going to play this game with us tonight. How you doing, Ashley?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
I've been better. Anyway, I'm joking.
Man.
Thanks, Shanghai.
All right, Ashley, where are you calling in from tonight?
Georgia.
Georgia. All right. All right, you ready to play the Happy Hunts game?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all right. All right, Tom, let's play. Do you know the rules?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Not too complicated.
No, it's a letter A through G and a number 1 through 9, and don't give me one that's already been said.
Okay. B5.
All right, let's see. B5 is going to give you 5 haunts.
5 haunts.
What about B5?
C5?
Mm-hmm.
8 haunts.
8 haunts.
And A9.
And A9 will give you another 9 haunts.
9 haunts. Aww. Yeah. And that brings Ashley's total up to 22 haunts. That was a haunt. That was a haunt.
That was a haunt.
That
or was that Michelle going to bed? I'm not sure what that I'm the worst person ever.
This is great. All right, 22. Ashley, do you have anything to add to our wonderful Shanghai conversation?
No, I guess just thanks, Shanghai. I blame you. It's your fault.
Oh.
All right, she just wanted to hear the gone. But all right.
I love Jason just smirking in the corner of that map down there. Your favorite thing.
This is one of my favorite episodes
I appreciate
ever.
you playing tonight.
Thanks.
All right. That was our last contestant for now. But if anyone else out there wants to play, see if you can beat 39 haunts, you can call us now, 407-774-8255.
You could win this fantastic variant cover comic book. Jason, let's tweet about it. Let's tweet on Facebook. Let people know we have a whole...
Would you believe I did?
Oh, did you?
And said you can win a park exclusive comic book. How
I'm
about
stunned.
that?
Oh wait, I think we're getting a call right now.
Ask if they saw the tweet.
Ask if they thanked Shanghai. Maybe I don't know what Nick's doing. Anyway, so there's still plenty of spaces on the grid that have not been picked. One space has the $9.99, and you could automatically win. So, and we still got lots to go this hour. Tom and Nick are angry about things. What did we just eat? I'm still not sure about the first place, actually. And then we're going to talk about things that were announced but never actually built for the Disney park. Lots more coming up this hour. Nick, what's going on?
We got another contestant on 999 Happy Hunts. This is Barbara. Barbara, good evening.
Hi.
Hello, where are you calling from, Barbara?
Iowa.
Iowa.
I don't think it's a first for us. No?
I don't know. Iowa? Might have been.
I feel like you're in Iowa.
Well, thanks for calling in from Iowa and listening out there.
Yeah.
You making a trip to Disney World anytime soon?
I'm actually coming back down for another college program over the summer. So, Rivers of Light, I'm ready to go. Thanks, Shanghai.
Rivers of Light might open this summer.
Might.
Rivers of Might.
Well, I'm glad Shanghai hasn't affected your plans to come back to Disney World. That's at least good. All right, so Barbara, here we go. Have you been listening? Do you know the rules of our game tonight?
I haven't, and I've got my 3 already.
She got her 3 already.
She has her 3 already.
All right.
All right. Let's see if you can find the battleship here. Again, A through G and 1 through 9. What are you going with?
All right, I'm on B9.
B9.
B as in boy?
B as in boy.
Okay.
Like benign tumor. 17.
Ooh,
17 haunts over there.
17 haunts.
Ooh, that's a good one. So this might be in good shape here. What's your next?
C4.
C4, like the explosive. There's 9 haunts.
9 haunts.
Yes.
You're up to 26.
C4 is also the explosives that they're using at
All
Hollywood
right.
Studios.
And then F1.
F1.
Good
like
choice.
the race car. I think that's it's 8 haunts.
8 haunts.
8 haunts. Dumbest game.
All right, Barbara. That brings your total up to 34 haunts.
So we still have a tie.
All right, thank you, Barbara, for playing tonight.
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks for tuning in, and thanks, Shanghai. As always. So, we're going to see, I think Nick's going to have another contestant on the line right now, actually. We're gonna see
This is the most fun game.
That's it. Like, don't ask people trivia or to match people or anything like that. Just pick numbers.
Just pick numbers, and Tom will make words out of them, like benign tumor.
we could sit here for a whole second hour.
What other letter number combination
But we can
words?
But we can only do this game after Michelle goes to sleep every week. That's the key. But anyway, Nick likes that joke. Anyway,
we have a couple more contestants on.
Oh, we do?
Yep.
Wow, this is the most popular game ever. The game that requires no thought.
No skill.
Let's go.
All right, we're going to bring Don on the line now. Don, good evening.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling in. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Stevensville, Maryland.
Stevensville, Maryland. Popular place in the Maryland area. Now, how has Shanghai affected your life?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Wow.
All right.
That's good.
That's very good, yeah.
Thanks for nothing.
The castle looks cool, but otherwise it doesn't really interest me because I'm sure I'll never be able to go out there.
No. All right. But it's not causing any financial setbacks.
No, not
see?
for me anyway.
But you know where you could go? 3 spaces on this highly detailed black and white map because we don't have a color printer.
All right. Well, we have the company cut, budget cuts. You know why we don't have coloring?
Thanks, Shanghai. Let's keep this. Can we continue this stupid game? Please?
All right, Don. Do you know how to play the game?
Yep, sure do.
All right.
All right. Go ahead. A through G, 1 through 9.
Is G1 available?
G1 is available. There is 7.
7 haunts.
Yeah, 7 haunts.
7.
All right, we'll go in order G2.
G2 will give you 14 additional haunts.
Oh, 14 haunts.
You know what? Let's just make it G3 if that's available.
16 haunts.
16 haunts. Well, that brings your magical total up to 37 haunts.
So still a tie.
Still a tie at the top. Not enough to get you into the lead, Don, but we do appreciate you playing with us tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. So we're playing for that Haunted Mansion variant cover comic book. And let's see if John has any luck in winning this. John, good evening.
Hi.
Hey, John, where are you calling from?
Ohio.
Oh, another Ohioan. All right. Do you live in the same house as the previous Ohioan?
Not to my knowledge.
That would be creepy.
That'd be something if you lived in the same house and had no idea. But
That'd
anyway.
be creepy. No,
Anyway.
we'll see.
So, have you heard this disaster so far? Do you know how to play?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and give me letter A through G and a number 1 through 9.
A4.
A4 has already been said.
Okay, then how about A6?
A6 is going to give you 16 haunts.
Ooh, 16 haunts.
F6.
F6 is going to give you 1 haunt.
Oh, 1 haunt.
Ooh, only 1 haunt at Winter Summerland. Anyway.
And C6.
C6 is going to give you 10 haunts.
10 haunts. Oh, I don't think that's going to be enough. That's going to bring your total up to 17 haunts.
Darn.
Still a tie.
Yeah. Sorry about that, John.
That's okay.
All right. Well, thanks for playing.
Okay, have a good night.
Jason, stop encouraging this game.
No, keep encouraging this game.
Stop trying to make this game happen.
Love it. We need more contestants, and you could be a contestant by calling 407-774-8255. All the huge space. There are some big haunt spaces out there.
There's a 71, there's an 82, there's a 98, almost if there's a theme going. 89, and still the 999.
Yep. You can get one of those. 407-774-8255 is the number. It looks like we're getting some more contestants.
Jeez, we're never going to get to the rest of the show tonight. All because people love this thoughtless game. The thoughtless game is the best game at WDWNT. Let's see who we're going to have here.
All right, let's bring on our next contestant. Her name is Sally. Good evening.
No, it's Valerie.
Valerie, I am sorry. I asked
okay.
Sally, and she said yes. And
Thanks, Shanghai!
Yeah. We could play that every time Nick
Switching names on Nick.
Every time Nick makes a mistake, we can play the gong.
Oh, then it's just going to be on a continuous loop in the background.
All right, Valerie. Where are you calling us from?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. All right. You seen any effects of Shanghai there?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, yeah.
You
But
act
look,
like it's a hurricane or something. It's coming up the coast, and we're waiting to see effects.
It's coming for your firstborn. Look out!
You wait, Valerie. Shanghai affects us all.
All right. It's also budget cuts. That's why I had to come up with a game that's just a grid on a black and white map. So, anyway, a letter A through G and a number 1 through 9. You're going to give me 3 of them.
Is A8 available?
A8 is available. That's 20 haunts.
20 haunts.
That's a big one. You need 19 more haunts to tie. So where else are we going on the map?
Is C10 available?
Only through 9.
Oh, sorry about that. C9 then?
C9 is 7 haunts.
7 haunts.
Yeah, 7 haunts.
And G8?
G8 is available. That is another 7 haunts.
7 haunts?
Yeah, 7 haunts.
All right, well, let's add that up real quick, and unfortunately, you'll fall just a bit short with 34 haunts.
And so the tie continues, Nick.
It does.
Yep.
It does continue with 2 people with 39 haunts each. Our first 2 contestants, in fact.
Yes.
But we appreciate you playing, Valerie. Call us anytime.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Exactly. So are you more angry or hungry right now?
Angry. Definitely angry.
To the entire curse word library. This new console is done.
It's a damn poor mind indeed. Can't think of at least 2 ways to spell a word.
No privacy is all around this place.
I don't like Sam.
I don't like change. It was bad. It was awful. I was terrible. Get him away. Hey, boo!
All right, Tom, what are you mad at?
I'm mad at a lot of things.
I know. You're just an angry boy
Writer's
tonight.
Stop Lounge, that Galaxy Far, Far Away show. Of course, always Shanghai. But the thing I'm most mad about is that I was wrong about a story.
Oh.
I am mad because I got sent. It's a real official document. I'm not going to show you because I've been asked not to. But it's a real document that has all the dates that were supposed to be the preview dates and the annual pass holder dates and the cast dates and the official opening date for Rivers of Light. It's a real document, and clearly they fell behind schedule, but yet this document was still floating around. So I went with it because it was an official document, and unfortunately it did not pan out. But then again, anything we have in the realm of rumor is always, not confirmed until Disney comes forth and actually meets their deadlines or confirms it. So I'm mad at Disney for not coming through because it would have been yet another story I can add to my long list of those we've broken here at WDWNT. But nonetheless, I'm kind of angry about it because, of course, all the Tom Corless detractors are pretty happy.
Yeah, that's all right. Nothing you can do about it. And you know what?
So we just posted aerial pictures all week and just got more traffic.
It's not your
But anyway.
fault. It's not your fault. It's not Disney's fault. It's
Shanghai. What are you mad?
Yeah, you like those aerial photos, huh?
Those are really good. Whoever took those.
Whoever took those. Wink to the camera. Hey, mine's a little more personal. I'm not really upset. I'm just kind of more angry with myself that I can't make a decision. I just got a new iPhone, and it's unprotected as of right now, and I've been using it for a few days.
Don't take it to OBT.
No, she won't be going there. And I'm very, very nervous. I've been to Disney World twice. My problem is I can't decide on a phone case.
Did you see those new ones coming out?
Well, yeah, I did, but I can't decide. And so I've been to Hollywood Studios and the Magic Kingdom and looked through all their phone cases. And I just can't settle on one. I just can't pick one, and so I'm a little bit mad that I have all these choices, and I really don't know what to do because I'm not a person that likes to buy multiple phone cases. I don't like to change them out. I think you do, don't you? Like to
every couple of months. I've had this one for a while now. I'm looking to get a new one finally. I want to get that Jose one that's coming to 28 Main.
Oh yeah. I know.
Room one.
I have this personality. Like I can't make choice. I have to look at everything. Like whenever I make any decision, I have to look at everything and then make a choice. So I'm still walking around and I'm very, very nervous about holding my phone. It's like
you need to get a case.
When did those new ones come out? Are they?
They're slowly rolling out. So the Zootopia ones are like already in some of the DTEC on-demand machines, but not all have been rolled out yet. But I'm gonna get the Tiki. I try to change every 3 or 4 months. I've had a couple on this. This phone's almost 2 years old. I've had Disneyland 60th and a couple of Star Wars ones, and but now I'm gonna get Jose. I think that'll be the last phone case for this phone before I upgrade. Do we have another contestant?
Oh, we do. You ready to play more 999 Happy Haunts?
Ready for someone to find the 999, so this could be over.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Let's see if Mike can do that. Good evening, Mike.
Hey there.
Hey, where are you calling in from tonight?
Davenport, Florida.
Davenport,
yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. You still live in Davenport.
I'm aware.
We love the Florida listeners.
Anyway.
How is
Good night,
Davenport?
everybody.
How is Davenport this time of year?
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Do you get over to Walt Disney World often?
Not often enough.
Yeah, you'd think you'd get there often from there, but
you would, but especially you want to get away from the terrible people in Davenport. But anyway, I digress.
Wow.
So the way we play the game, there's a game.
There's a game
happening here.
I like to talk with our listeners.
Yeah, I know.
Get to know them.
No, I got it. I then made it about me as usual.
For what's going on out there?
Thanks, Shanghai.
Is Mike mad at Shanghai?
I actually have a friend over in Shanghai who's supposed to open the park. Maybe he'll be on his way back home soon.
Maybe. I wouldn't hope on it. Thanks, Shanghai.
Do you want your friend to come back home?
It'd be nice to see him, but I don't know. They open the park. Thanks, Shanghai.
There you go. So, A through G and 1 through 9. You got to pick three squares.
Can't believe I heard this one yet, but G7.
G7. Which is going to be 14.
14 haunts.
14 haunts.
Okay. Let's do E5.
E5 is going to be 18 haunts.
Ooh, 18 haunts.
How many does he need at this point?
He's up to 32 right now.
Right, so he needs at least 7 to tie. Yeah, 7.
Well, let's do C7.
C7 is going to be 18 haunts.
That gets you 50 haunts. There were no ghosts in that, but I thought that was that.
That's
was,
all right. There's enough ghosts in Devon.
There. All right. Well, very good, Mike. I'm going to get you on hold. I'll get your contact info so we can contact you if you are our winner tonight. But Tom, we do have one more contestant that's sitting here, so let's bring on John. John, Mike just raised the bar on you up to 50 haunts, but how you doing tonight?
Good, thanks. I see that.
Yeah. He just made it a little harder for you. Now you have to. I will tell you, there's some out there that can easily beat them. But,
like $9.99.
Oh, yeah, that's one of them. So where are you calling from, John?
Give it my shot. I got a little strategy here.
Where are you calling in from tonight?
Colorado.
Colorado, all over the country tonight.
Wow.
We're spreading it out. We're crossing the Rockies, I think, right? Colorado? Is that on the other side?
No, I'm on the east side.
Just
Nick
so
is not
close.
good at geography, as we
So
learned
close.
from tonight's map. But anyway.
All right, here we go. Here we go, John.
Okay. I'm going to go with C6.
C6 has already been said.
C6 has? Okay. How about C4?
C4 has already been said. I made a really bad explosive joke.
C7?
C7 has been said.
We haven't been keeping track of these. So C8?
C8 is available. That is 5 haunts.
5 haunts.
How about E5?
E5 has been said.
E9?
E9 has not. E9 is 20 haunts.
20 haunts brings up to 25.
You need another 25, but there's plenty of big spaces out there still.
D3.
D3 is 19 haunts.
Ooh, 19 haunts. So close. But not close enough. That brings you up to 44 haunts. Yeah,
That was a good one, though.
That was a good one. That would have been good enough if not for Mike.
All of our high point totals
you know
are
what?
still out.
But it's not just Mike's fault. It's Shanghai.
Sure is.
Scapegoat for tonight. Shanghai and Tom Staggs. Maybe it's Tom Staggs' fault. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, John. Appreciate you calling.
Yeah.
All right. Would you like to talk about our food excursions for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm angry.
All right. You're angry about it.
That's
wrong one.
Wait, what are you playing?
Much different.
Okay, crackpots, let's get cooking!
What did we just eat? Well, this weekend I dragged Nick along. We knew Writer Stop Lounge was going to open on Sunday. So we decided to go to the Writer Stop Lounge, now no longer carrying baked goods of any kind. So we went in there, and Ashley and Nick go get a seat. And I go to the counter, and because you have to apparently order the food at the counter, so there's no service here at this lounge. It's go to a counter like it's a store and buy stuff and then bring it to your table. So it's basically a counter service.
Kind of like Starbucks.
It's a counter. It's a counter service.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So, all right. The options are there is a pretzel with cheese sauce
and mustard.
There's spiced nuts and a cheese plate.
Cheese plate.
That's it.
Cheese and meat.
This, mind you, is the lounge hooked up to the Sci-Fi Dine-In.
Cheese plate had fruit, too.
Yes, it did. So, hooked up to Sci-Fi Dine-In, what fits the menu at Sci-Fi better than a cheese plate, a pretzel, and some spiced nuts? This, mind you, is a restaurant that serves hot dogs on top of a hamburger.
UFO cookies?
UFO cookies?
Mm.
Oh, what would have fit?
Yeah,
I was going to say they don't have.
I thought that's what you asked.
What you're talking about? No. So what is this menu to begin with? So number one, it's the big glass case in Writer's Stop.
This old moon pies.
Shut up. So this big, I broke this pen. I was so mad at you. I just broke this pen, like the top just came out.
Astronaut ice cream.
Anyway, so they're serving nuts and pretzels and a cheese plate, which remember, the cheese plate doesn't even fit with the theme of the other two items to begin with. Then on top of that, none of this is particularly good. The cheese plate it's normal cheese plate.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the pretzel's fine, but the cheese sauce had been sitting there probably since the shop was themed to Ellen 20 years ago.
I'll tell you, that cheese tasted awful, and I love all kinds of cheese, even nasty cheese.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, so there's that.
Huge pretzel.
The spice nuts were fine. They were cold, very cold. Like they'd obviously been made a long time ago.
Do you think they're supposed to be warm like the ones you get out, like the...
I would imagine everything should be warm. It's a lounge. Like it's not like it's just like a bowl of nuts sitting on the table. Like they're...
That's true.
You know, it's...
Well, I don't know if they were necessarily roasted.
But then on top of that, the drink menu is it's all the standard drink stuff. But again, there's no actual service. There's these three weird plates that don't fit any theme or anything whatsoever. None of them are good. They're okay.
The cheese plate was the saddest looking thing though, because it was a gigantic cheese tray.
It's this big, and it's not even a wood board. It was like a plastic faux wood.
Yeah, it's faux wood.
Yeah.
Formica.
So like this. So this is just bad. And they didn't add any seats. It's still the 4 tables in the back. They're supposed to be serving everyone waiting for sci-fi. It's 4 tables in the back. The rest is still a store. So they're ringing up people buying tumblers in the middle of this lounge that has a cheese plate. Now, mind you, they could literally cart over anything from the sci-fi kitchen, like the appetizers or even just the desserts. Like, let me order a milkshake and just bring it over. But they're not. I don't know what this is. It very clearly is this cash grab thing where they realize we lost bars closing the back of the park. We need another bar, and that's what happened here. And this is an abomination because actually the lounges at Walt Disney World are wonderful. I just started really going to a lot of them the last year. I did not drink a whole lot, so I never really went to them. And honestly, you don't really have to drink to go to them. They all have a lot of them have phenomenal menus.
They do. They're little hidden gems.
They are. I want to talk about the next one. We're going to move on because I'm tired of talking about. Do you have anything else you want to say about?
No, I mean it's bland.
It's garbage.
It's dumb.
It's a garbage fire. So anyway, the next we end up going later in the night. Ashley suggested it because she had said it's her number 1 lounge.
I couldn't believe that because I've been to a bunch of lounges.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, I look at Territory Lounge and all these other great ones I love, Sanaa, and I'm like, these are so good. Even the Wave, and I can't believe Cruise Cup's going to be that good. And we go to Cruise Cup, which is attached to Yachtsman Steakhouse at Yacht Club, and we had probably easily one of the greatest meals I've ever had at Walt Disney World.
So good.
We had. On a whim, it was one of those things where just like, we're looking for another thing to order, and I suggested the wings, because I like to at least try the wings everywhere, just to see if they're going to be better. And we got the wings, and not only were they, it was the full wing.
Yeah.
Like, not just the what do you even call that?
Well, it was not
just like the drumstick.
Leg and the drumstick and the thigh together.
They're all together, which doesn't happen when you order wings. Not only that, they were like the sauce was really spicy and really flavorful and just amazing.
She warned us about the sauce, like saying it was really spicy.
And I was like, all right, this is going to be the normal buffalo wings at every lounge, and it wasn't. They were really, really spectacular.
They had kind of like a tang to them that was just really good. I don't know. There was something extra to them, and I equated them to close to what they sometimes use on the duck wings, like a little bit like that.
Similar at Carthage.
Yeah, and then they were just really meaty too. Like there was a ton of meat on these things. Like I got what did I get? 5 and I couldn't finish them.
Yeah, so here's what happened. We ordered one for appetizer, so there's 5 on the plate. I think Ashley and I had 2 each, and Nick had 1. And Nick, we're trying to decide what we're going to get for actual entrees. And Nick looks at the menu and he goes, I'm just going to get another order of wings for myself. And Nick did. And what'd you eat? 3 of the 4? You end up eating 4 of the 5. Really great plate. But then also we got, which the thing that everyone talks about when they go to Cruise Cup is the truffle fries, which were spectacular. There's this dipping sauce, this mayo dipping sauce that's just unbelievable. They were so good.
Yeah, really well seasoned.
So that's all we got for the appetizers was those 2 things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we did entrees. I got the beef short rib, which was, because it's the same kitchen as Yachtsman, was spectacular.
Came with risotto, right?
Yeah. Oh, the risotto was so good. I don't remember what Ashley got.
Cheeseburger.
That's right. She had the burger, which, again, because it was cooked in the Yachtsman kitchen, was so much better than any other hamburger on property. Everything was spectacular. We're going to go back like in the next week. I can't wait to go back.
Our drinks were great. How'd you like your Pim's Punch?
You're the worst. They accidentally put a Pim's Punch on the bill, and we had to have it taken off. And yeah, I had my pina coladas because Tom drinks girly drinks, so you make fun of me if you want. I don't know.
No, it's all good.
Tip Top Colada at Wave or Top of the World is excellent, by the way. But anyway, I digress. It was so good. I'm so glad it canceled out our horrible experience at
Writer Stuff. Yeah, no, honestly, most of the lounges, I've never really had a really poor experience. I mean, they're all good in their own way, and they're just
some of them are kind of meh.
Well, some of them are meh, but I've never had like a bad experience. Yes, there's some that I don't really care to visit, but there's some that I visit often, and they're fun. I mean, it's just a great. They're usually a lot of times they're kind of out of the way a little bit, like there's not the crowd there, and get a few drinks and some appetizers. I love that.
I gotta go back to Territory Lounge this week. Those pretzels are calling me. They're so good.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to take a little break. When we return, we'll bring on some panelists from WDWNT, and we'll get on to our feature discussion this week. Things that were announced for the parks.
Announced, but never actually happened.
Never happened. Like some people wish the show was one of those things. No? Maybe? Tom, tonight? I don't know. I don't know. In a weird mood. WDW News Tonight will return.
Are you planning a Walt Disney World vacation? Are you buried under tons of advice from everyone around you? Fear not, we have the solution for you, the Unverified Guide to Walt Disney World. Here at the Unverified Guide, we take a scientific approach to your vacation. Our expansive team has interviewed every one of your coworkers about their trips and compiled them here to give you the best tips for experiencing the 4 theme parks. The one with the golf ball, the zoo, the one with Star Wars, and of course the one that started it all, Disney World. Our guide is filled with useful tips such as Pirates of the Caribbean and It's a Small World are basically the same ride, so you don't need to do both. It's not that busy at Christmas. The only reason to go to Epcot is to drink. Wait to go until they're not doing construction anymore. There are plenty of restaurants. You don't need reservations, but if you do, that'll be $1,200. And of course, the Harry Potter stuff is at the Studios Park, not the Magic Kingdom. Follow our step-by-step touring plans from get in line for the park turnstiles an hour before anyone working there wakes up to set a reminder to check your current credit limit before going to bed. Don't believe me? Just listen to these testimonials.
Without the Unverified Guide, I would have never spent the hour wandering around looking for Toontown Fair. The circus there was really cool, though.
Without the Unverified Guide, I would have never had the greatest Italian meal of my life at Mama Melrose. I'm actually still chewing on my spaghetti.
I never did find the Matterhorn, but thanks to the Unverified Guide, I knew how much fun it is.
Get your copy of the Unverified Guide to Walt Disney World wherever books on clearance are sold. So, basically, Books A Million.
Welcome back to WDW News Tonight, and I am keeping the phone lines open for 999 Happy Haunts. I'm not calling it yet, Tom, so...
No, it's fine. We have more squares left.
If anyone calls in now to the end of the show, you have about 20 minutes left. 407-774-8255. We'll get you on as a contestant.
You, too, can play our laziest game to date.
It's been the most entertaining game to date, I will say.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, yes.
Match game is
all right, match game was. But this, for an easy game with no big setup, this was pretty funny.
And no one's figured out there's an easy way to win this game. If you really think about the numbers and a map of Walt Disney World, there's a real...
there's a way to increase your odds.
There is a way to play this smart. We did... in usual WDWNT fashion, there's a catch. So we'll see if anyone figures it out. If not, we'll reveal it before the end of the show. So what I want to talk about, because the Toy Story Land concept art changed and things getting cut and changed and different, made me think about how many times in my lifetime Disney has announced something and then maybe just not done it. It's happened, and it's happened a lot throughout the annals of history, and so I wanted to talk about maybe some of the more famous instances. So instead of doing like a Back to the Future flashback thing this week, I decided maybe the discussion would be fun to talk about maybe the things that we remember or we wish had happened, but that were actually announced, not just things that were concepts that Disney almost went through on, but things they actually announced were going to happen and then said, no, it's not, we're not doing that.
And do it all in 15 minutes. That would be fun.
Yes, that's the plan. So David and Jason are here with us as well to talk about this. So I'm going to get the big one. I want to get the elephant in the room out of the way, Western River Expedition. For those who don't know, originally Mark Davis wanted to do this really giant mountain-type thing in Frontierland. Instead of, they decided they weren't going to do pirates in Florida because they were too close to the Caribbean. It didn't make any sense. So they decided they built this giant mountain which would have a pirate-style boat ride, but through Western scenes. But also tied into this giant mountain, there'd be like a hiking trail, and they might have pack mules. There'd be a raft ride outside, like Tom Sawyer Island. Rafts would go there, and
the roller
of course
coaster
there'd be a runaway train roller coaster ride, and all this stuff in one giant mountain structure that would have opened a couple years after the Magic Kingdom had opened. And of course, it did not happen. Mark Davis fought for many years. It almost happened several times, and in the end, Tony Baxter kind of backstabbed him and got Big Thunder, which was just the tiny roller coaster ride, approved and built. So, although pieces of the ride did live on, some of the scenes in World of Motion end up being lifted from it and things like that.
So would that have meant that we would have never gotten Big Thunder, possibly Splash, and possibly Pirates?
Yeah, all three of those probably wouldn't have happened because Splash was still on the other half of the plot that never got used. It was that big grassy knoll with a train station on it.
Yeah, Western River would have taken the space of Splash and Big Thunder.
That whole corner.
And then there wouldn't have been a reason for Pirates, or do you think there would have still been that backlash and Pirates would have
well, I mean, the backlash is the only reason Pirates got built.
Right.
Which is pretty much why Western River got canceled, yeah.
Yeah, although there was a plan after Pirates got approved, there was a couple-year period where it was, we're still going to do Western River. But then, in the end, they just did it. So, they did coexist as plans for a little while in history. Anyone else have some other particular big...
I want to talk about David Copperfield's Magic Underground.
I was hoping someone was going to talk about
that.
Oh, wait.
So that was announced. Go ahead.
I want to put on my hat for this segment.
Yes, please do. David Copperfield's Magic Underground was announced when I was, 8 years old or something. And, David Copperfield was big into, big in the entertainment world at that point in time. And so, I had watched David Copperfield on TV. They announced this restaurant. They talked about how it was going to have all these tricks and theming and everything, and I was so excited for it.
Yeah.
And then they just didn't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, so to give you an idea how official it was, Fantasmic debuted, so they used to have that billboard outside of Hollywood Studios. There was a billboard where now that star is with the film reel going around it. The billboard basically would advertise whatever was new at the park. So there was the Fantasmic billboard, and in the corner there was this square little cutout thing that said, coming next year, David Copperfield's Underground. So it was marketed in the park as coming soon.
It wasn't coming to Hollywood Studios, though, was it?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was coming to Downtown Disney.
It might have eventually changed to that. No, it was Hollywood Studios.
Originally it was
Sunset
Studios.
Boulevard, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I remember seeing something about it, like a billboard or something at Downtown Disney at one point, too.
Yeah, no, it was on the billboard at Studio.
Okay.
Vivid memory.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been like the coolest thing ever. And then instead we got Jekyll and Hyde in Manhattan, which was kind of that idea.
Jekyll and Hyde was open before that.
Well,
Jekyll and Hyde was awesome. How dare you?
No, I'm saying that's the closest thing. I love Jekyll and Hyde.
It was like Adventurers Club, though. They said the guys who created Jekyll and Hyde Club in New York had been to... In fact, if you remember, in the early years of Adventurers Club, there was the Canteen Cup, souvenir cup. They had the exact same Canteen Cup.
At Jekyll and Hyde.
At Jekyll and Hyde with the Jekyll and Hyde logo.
And now they have it at Grizzly River.
They do. But Jekyll and Hyde still exists.
Oh, Jekyll and Hyde,
They use locations, but they're still...
They changed and enlarged quite a bit, and I've been to both. But, yeah, no, Jekyll and Hyde is kind of... Whenever I think about David Copperfield, I want to go to Jekyll and Hyde because I think that's probably the closest thing that we have to it.
I think it's better than that would have been because it would have just been a magic thing, which is kind of what the Edison is going to be in some ways. More along the lines, I think, of what Underground was going to be. But anyway.
Let's talk about a more recent one, Hyperion Wharf. Something that was announced, and it looked like they were actually starting work on it. And of course, almost like an overlay of Pleasure Island, right? It was a rework.
It was just the Pleasure Island section, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Which they kept. I mean, in this project, it's become clear they kept a lot of stuff from Hyperion Wharf because Hyperion Wharf, the whole theme of that island was like an industrial district, which is what the landing is. They kept They kept a majority of that design work. They just overall wrapped all of the springs.
And I'm glad they did because we needed that large overhaul.
Right,
we did.
It would have been nice for them to keep the name because the landing is kind of bland to me. If they would have called it Hyperion, I mean, there's a boat dock, so it kind of fits. I don't know why they, but it would have been cool to keep the name.
I think the reason they didn't is because I think the names of the different sections in Disney Springs are sort of about where they are. So there's West Side, there's Town Center, which is the center. The landing, I mean, it's, it is a landing. Marketplace is just Marketplace because it's been that since the 70s. But otherwise, I do understand why they didn't end up going. And also, I know Disney doesn't like to keep names like that, especially things that are associated with things they either failed or they didn't carry through with. So, Hyperion Wharf.
How about I've got a good something to talk about. It was this. I can't remember what it was called. This park outside of Washington D.C. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. Disney's America.
Yeah. Almost like it says it on my hat.
Almost.
Yeah, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show because you mentioned it, and I decided to do a whole segment on it. And it was that whole part, which most of it became California Adventure anyway.
In worse form.
Yeah, possibly.
And speaking of California Adventure, how about Westcott?
Westcott, which of course was going to be the West Coast version.
We haven't done like a full-blown Back to the Future on Westcott California Adventure.
Yeah,
that would be something we definitely should do.
That would be a fun one we should do.
There's a lot of information out there.
I'm not hugely up on that one. Was that one that was really announced? People thought it was coming.
There's merchandise.
Merchandise and documents.
Really?
Yeah, we had the whole press book at work and everything. Yeah. Westcott was going to be Epcot as the second gate at Disneyland Resort, and it was going to be corrected Epcot. So they're going to have a Spaceship Earth that was 100 feet bigger.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was made of gold.
Stop.
No, I'm not even joking. The real Space Station Earth. Space Station Earth, and then like the Future World Pavilions were all going to be indoor underneath Space Station Earth, almost in one complex. But then World Showcase wouldn't be individual countries. A much smarter idea would be regions. So each section would be a region geographically. And then the coolest part was the second floor of all the countries was a resort hotel. So you could sleep in the park.
That's the origin of the let's stay in a hotel in the park idea.
Yes. No, we will have to. It's going to have to happen on the podcast this year at some point.
And they had the room to really do this, right?
They did. I mean, the resort plan was etched out, and it was pretty much the same footprint as DCA.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
It had
would have
the
taken
S1
the
on
same
everything.
space.
DCA just kind of plopped itself in there.
Yeah, I think like World Showcase Lagoon would not have been anywhere near as big.
No, yeah, the
as
park
it is
would
in
not
Florida.
have been as big as our Epcot.
It
Someone
would
in
have
the
been very
chat
dense,
actually just
though.
put the concept art in there with Space Station.
Yeah, it would have been a very dense park, though, much like Disneyland is.
Yeah. But no, that's one of the better ones. I think did Port Disney get announced, or was that just planned? I don't remember if that was the Long Beach project, which was Disney Sea.
That I don't know if that got
I
announced.
don't remember an announcement.
Yeah, I don't think that was announced, but that came close to where they were going to buy the property in Long Beach and bus people out there for Disney Sea, which then eventually got built in Tokyo.
Yep. How about the Mineral King Resort?
Mineral King was announced.
Oh yeah, early one.
That was definitely announced. I mean, they own the property for that.
Did they
from what
still
I can
own it?
remember. No, but they did. I mean, they actually owned the property there.
Huh? They came real close. Yeah, Country Bears was, of course, fully developed for that and everything. So, Nick, what's going on with the game? Are we have another contestant? Or we...
No other contestants right now. So we get ready to kind of call the winner and reveal.
Let's give people 2 minutes.
All right, give people
Give
two
them
more minutes.
407-774-8255 if you haven't played yet.
I don't know if these were ever announced or not. So maybe you could tell me, Tom. But how about the sister resorts, the Polynesian, like the Asian, the Venetian?
Oh, they definitely were because they were on
the Persian.
the 71 map that was in the rooms at the Polynesian.
Right.
Or the Contemporary, you would see the Persian and the Venetian. So yeah.
I actually have a photograph. So Tom, you might remember this. Whatever, it was probably like 8 years ago. They were selling a photograph that hung in someone's office. They were selling it at Property Control. That was a photograph of a styrofoam model of the Persian.
Yeah.
And I bought it. So that was that was fully modeled out, and there were not only concept art,
books. Like there were early books
the early
released
books
that said like, oh, these are coming soon.
That was phase 2.
And usually Western River would preface that, and then the next pages would have the resorts.
The resorts.
I mean, phase 2 was fully fleshed out and designed, and those were all part of phase 2. And I mean the Asian that was going where Grand Floridian is now. I mean, that plot of land was put there.
It was the square, the perfect square.
Yeah, because that's how the resort was going to be set up. So
yeah, and the Grand Floridian ended up using that footprint.
Most of it.
They expanded a little.
Yeah, but I mean that I vividly remember seeing that square from the monorail.
Yeah.
Because it was so odd looking.
And it sat there forever. Yeah.
Forever, yes, a long, long time.
I wanna talk about more of these. I'll tell you what, we'll come back for overtime. For this week's show, we'll talk about a couple more. But I want to recap the game while we have a couple minutes left. So no one else is called in, right?
No one else is called in. We're going to have to declare Mike with 50 haunts our winner tonight.
So, Mike, you're going to get this fabulous variant cover comic book. Please enjoy it. Because they're no longer available. It's a cool piece. If you want to buy one, though, our fantastic sponsors at Theme Park Connection have them up on eBay right now. If you do want one. Yeah, and I mean, they're completely gone, so it's going to be your last chance to get it. I know you have to pay more than it was originally, but, that's how America works. Disney's America.
America! Make America great again!
Thanks, Shanghai! Anyway, so there was a bit of a secret to this map. The secret was if you could figure out how the grid worked and think about where things are in relation to Walt Disney World, 999 was actually on the Haunted Mansion.
So it's kind of up there. Was it A or B?
Yeah. It was actually B4. And people danced around it. I thought people figured it out and were trying early on, but they were just guessing around it.
Well, we didn't know what map you were using. That was the trick.
Well, no, but if you thought about how Walt Disney World lays out, you could have at least tried for an area.
It had to be up in the ABC 1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly, somewhere up there, somewhere at the top at least. The other fun thing was the parks had their years. So Animal Kingdom was worth 98. So if you guessed D2, that was 98. If you guessed D6, that was Epcot, was 82. So if you tried to aim for parks, you would have got more points there. And then there was some weird random 34.
That was before I came up with the system. But honestly, all the numbers, they add up to 999.
Oh, do they?
So I took the time to do that.
Oh, so Nick did.
There
was definitely some thought and preparation put into
So this wasn't. Maybe we will do this.
So
again.
I got through to the end. I needed 34 more haunts, so one of them became 34 randomly. But anyway, then you had the 999 one. Yeah.
We'll have to do something like this again. People seem to really like it.
Yeah. Like it.
I'm going to take my hat off.
You don't get it all greased up.
Back to normal.
We could map out the Tower of Terror, and people can find bellhops.
Yeah. So we're going to come back.
Yeah, no.
We're going to come back with overtime in a few minutes. Jason, David, Nick, and I will talk a little bit more about a couple of projects that were announced, but perhaps never built.
I think sometimes people like to play a game that they just don't have to think about.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun. But next week, match game.
Match game? All right.
We'll do match game.
We'll do match game next week.
Stay tuned. You know that's always insane.
It's always a fan favorite. And
a staff.
Of course. Of course.
We have an interview next week?
We should have an interview lined up. I could pull up who. But
you don't have to.
Yeah, we do. We do have an interview with
interview
an
next
author.
week, match game, and lots more fun games and things of that nature. It was a fun show this week.
All right. Of course, you could check out everything at WDWNT.com. Follow us on Twitter at WDWNT. I think we have even more aerial photos, possibly aerial stuff.
We have more this week coming up.
Yeah, coming out. So very cool.
So with that being said, remember, kids, Carlos, don't be chicken.
When can we do this again?
Celebrating 50 years as Apopka's hometown station. 1520 WBZW. Apopka, Orlando. Community events, financial news, weather, traffic, and more.
A service of Salem Media Group.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
So I'm here today to show solidarity with you.
A rally today outside the Mississippi Governor's Mansion protesting the bill that protecting organizations and businesses from providing services to same-sex couples, the Religious Objections Bill. Republican Governor Phil Bryant signed the bill.
And we're back. All right, welcome to News Tonight Overtime, which you can, of course, thank Shanghai for. We're going to play that gong so many times. Going to be the all by myself of News Tonight. Anyway.
Are we getting paid overtime for this?
Yes, overtime on your $0.
1.5 times.
Yes. Time and a half, yes.
There we go.
Excellent.
You could expect that paycheck when Disney's America opens.
Or when Avatar opens.
Or Shanghai Disney. One of those. What will come first, Disney's America or Avatar?
How about let's talk about a couple of DVC projects that were announced but never built.
Lodge.
Well, no, Wilderness Lodge exists.
No, but the middle one. What was that called? They were supposed to be the junction, whatever junction. It was going to be. I don't know if I think it was announced. It was going to be basically this themed as a connector sort of thing between Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness. So it'd be like the outpost between the two was the theme. It was called something Junction. Yeah.
Conjunction Junction.
No, it was like Buffalo Junction.
Oh yeah, Buffalo Junction. That's right.
So that was announced.
Was okay, and then so we've got the DVC at Eagle Pines.
Yep.
Which now that golf course doesn't even exist.
Yeah. What about the Washington D.C. one?
We've got the Washington D.C. one. That was what was that? What was that?
I don't remember the name of the development, but yeah.
Right.
Yes. And then there was one in Times Square.
Which ended up becoming the. What did that end up becoming? It became something else. That's that tall building that's there now. They ended up building a tall building there instead.
It's just a hotel, isn't it?
I guess it is, but there's like stores and stuff in it.
Not where the Marquee is, right? Marquee was before that project.
No, it was before that, yeah. There's that tall building that always has like 45,000 Target ads at the bottom.
It's the Westin New York.
There you go. Yeah.
There was the Newport Beach Villas. There was a DVC planned for Disneyland Paris until they realized that Disneyland Paris had 74,000 too many hotel rooms.
Yeah. Even though now they're talking about, right now, there's plans on the table for more resorts in Paris. It's been getting a lot of press lately.
Well, I mean, honestly, if they had, this is really off track, but if they had a DVC in Paris and people bought it, that would mean people would go. I mean, that's, you know, like I said earlier, the problem with Paris is that they can't generate enough demand, but having a DVC on property would certainly generate some demand. National Harbor was the site in Washington, D.C.
Someone in the chat brought up the other half of Pop Century.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it turned out better.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So whatever happened to them retheming the first half of Pop Century?
Well, that was just a rumor that was around, but I don't know how far off or whatever that is from actually happening.
Not sure there's any motivation to do that.
Yeah, right now I don't think
there is at this point. No.
Beastly Kingdom, someone said that's an important one.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of did see the light of day at Universal, but
was Project Gemini ever announced, or was that just rumors?
It wasn't announced. I mean, some of it happened, but never announced. There was another one I was just about to talk about. Now I can't think of it. Oh, the portions of New Fantasyland that didn't happen. Birthday Surprise for Sleeping Beauty and Dreams Come True with Cinderella. The two next-gen meet and greet type experiences that got switched out for Mine Train as well. Pixie Hollow.
Pixie Hollow, yeah.
Part of that, yeah. We saw two different versions of that before it eventually just vanished with thin air. So, yeah.
Well, so, you know, along those lines, I mean, this might not be the way Toy Story looks, what we're seeing on the wall right now, right?
It's possible. We don't know.
Yeah.
I would guess the concept art that's up now is the final and what they're building right now.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Okay.
But it's definitely been pared down, and I know they obviously didn't want to put a, you know, false advertising up on the board, which is nice of them, but at the same time we do have to talk about how things look cheaper. You know, we have to.
How about the extra land that was going to be behind Main Street?
The Disneyland?
Is that Edison Square?
Edison Square,
well, there's a couple different ones. It was International Street, Edison Square, and International Street, and then Liberty Street as well.
Oh, right. Yep.
So there's three different possible projects that almost happened. Edison Square, of course, was with the show that eventually became Carousel of Progress. Liberty Street had what became the Hall of Presidents. And then International Street was the foundation for World Showcase. So, but yeah, all of those. Of course, I guess was Discovery Bay announced at any point? I don't know if Discovery Bay was actually announced. I mean, it had its own TV show pilot and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know if it was actually ever announced. Actually, I think it did. It was part. It was in the exhibit at Disneyland. The Disneyland story. It was in the preview portion at one point. So yeah, it was announced.
Okay.
So yeah, Discovery Bay.
Yeah, I
big
forgot
one
about
with
that
Dumbo Circus. Yeah, both were previewed. That's right.
Right.
And of course, in Florida, we did the same thing. Western River was previewed at the end of the Walt Disney story. Someone brought up Mickey Studios. There was supposed to be the animation thing at Studios that never happened, which was like the Mickey. It looked like the Hyperion Studios. That never happened. My personal favorite thing that never happened was, of course, Roger Rabbit's Hollywood, which was a really cool looking area that had it had the Jolly Trolley simulator, the Baby Herman coaster, and Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin were all in there. And Jolly Trolley eventually, Jeff Lang actually put a video not that long ago of a preview of it that was in what was Exposition Hall at Magic Kingdom, and there was this beautiful queue that was like the red car terminal, and it was just such a gorgeous true for the trolley simulator. And I'm so sad we didn't get it. It would have been where Rock and Roller Coaster is. But announced as part of the Disney Decade, along with the infamous Dick Tracy's Crime Stop, which, of course, eventually that technology went into Indiana Jones Adventure, the EMV, although there would have been a shooting component to Dick Tracy where you would have racked up points for shooting horribly disfigured bad guys.
Nice. I don't know if any of the countries at Epcot, the additional countries, none of those were ever announced.
Yeah, they're in the book. They're in the opening day book. Africa, Israel, and Spain.
They were, okay.
All three are in the opening day book.
I forgot they were in the opening day book.
And the boards. There were the boards on stilts at the plots.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So those were most definitely announced.
And Switzerland.
I don't know if Switzerland was announced.
It was planned. I don't think it was announced.
Yeah, that and Russia were planned but never formally announced it.
Right.
What about there were Future World pavilions announced that didn't happen, right? Oh, well, yeah. The Space Pavilion was announced in '90. It was supposed to be sponsored by Delta. It's in an Eyes and Ears. In fact, I have the Eyes and Ears.
Journeys in Space.
Journeys in Space was announced. Yeah,
right.
It did not happen. So that one actually made it far enough to be announced, but never actually happened. So, and I mean, we could talk about other things like Century 21. I mean, that became Horizons anyway. There were certainly name changes and things like that. Things of that sort. I'm trying to think of anything else. There are effects that for rides that were announced that never happened. One that comes to mind is Radiator Springs Racers. The earliest press releases said in Ramones you were going to get a new paint job, and you'd see the new paint job. And that room is there, and you get the smell of paint, and the thing changes color. The thing that shoots the paint onto the car changes color, at least to mimic the color of your car. But originally in those mirrors that are up there on the side, you're supposed to see your car change color.
Right.
And that never worked out. So that was one of those things.
But hey, at least the rest of the ride works, unlike Shanghai's Pirates.
That's true. The rest of the ride's really, really fantastic ride. Anything else that was announced and just did not happen? I think we've covered everything in the WDWNT years, the last 9, with the new Fantasyland stuff and Hyperion Wharf. That kind of covers, I think, all of that. At least that was announced. I'm trying to think of anything else older maybe we missed.
Plek 2's Fantastic Intergalactic Review.
Was it announced? I guess Tomorrowland 2055 was announced.
Yeah.
I have the jacket and everything, so it has to be. Yeah, I do have that jacket. I love that jacket. I'll have to wear that when we talk about that, just like I wore my.
Yes.
The real story is we have drawers. There's a cabinet at work where we can put stuff we would like to buy as employees, and then eventually every couple of weeks or months, if the drawer gets full, we then have to buy our stuff or figure it out. And so today I just happened to clean out the drawer, and this was one of the things in there, and I realized what we were talking about. I was like, oh, I'm going to bring my Disney's America hat. So anyway, I bought a Disney's America hat. And several more mugs, not this one, which I don't know if I showed off today's mug, but it was Disney MGM Studios 10-year anniversary month.
On with the show.
Now it's off with the show.
Off with the show. Off with your head. Or at least the half of the park.
And half of what's planned for Toy Story. But anyway, here's the map. I love this was tonight's map.
Oh, so our winner, Mike, when I called him back to get his address so we could send him his Haunted Mansion comic, he said he thought he figured it out, and I asked him, well, what did you think we were doing? And he assumed that the big numbers would be hidden under sevens. Which, if you're a WDWNT fan, sure, good thinking.
I feel like I know Mike from Davenport. I don't know. I feel like I know him. I've met Mike. And I threw your map in the garbage, which is
well. At least he had a theory.
Yes,
that's true.
The right theory, but he had
it's a smart one. Man, I do love my number 7 very much. Yeah, 7. So yeah. Anyway, I don't see anything else in the chat. I guess I'm done. Anyone else have any other ones, or are we done at this point?
No, that's all I can think of.
Another nerve-wracking week of WDW News Tonight in the can.
I got some Force Awakens bonus features to watch, though.
I do know Mike. All right, Mike just tweeted out.
There you go.
That's who it was. All right. So yeah, what'd happen?
I said I got to go home and watch some Star Wars Force Awakens.
Yeah, I got to wait
features.
for my parents to yell it. They pre-ordered it, so I was gonna go buy it, and they're like, "Oh, we pre-ordered. We're just gonna send you the movie when we're done with it." I was like, "Oh." Okay. There's no point in buying it twice.
No.
I mean, they're gonna watch it once and then send it.
Isn't it still in theaters?
It is still in theaters. We were actually looking at
is it really?
Possibly going to the movies the other night.
Yeah, so you can just go watch it again.
There's nothing good out, so we almost went to see either Zootopia or that.
I'd see it in theater again.
And in the
What's
end,
the box office up to?
I don't know.
Like, has it broken any more records?
I don't think so. I think it kind of stalled. Zootopia is the #1 movie this year.
It's going to cross 1 billion.
Damn right.
Zootopia is spectacular.
Yep, it is. I love that movie so much. It's a wonderful. But you already knew that because you all follow me on Twitter, I'm sure, and have seen me yell about it. Fitness rooms at the Contemporary.
Whatever happened to those?
Remember that? We spent like a half hour on the podcast one week arguing about how stupid they were, and then they just never happened anyway.
That's because someone listened to our podcast.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that's probably going to be it for next week. Good show next week. Match game, interview, other stuff. Maybe the Great Cornac will finally appear next week. There has been rumblings that Cornac the Magnificent might show up. We'll see what happens.
That would be fun.
If the turban arrives from Amazon in time. I have a turban. Anyone who ever saw, we did a live See You Relate.
Yep.
Video See You Relate. I bought the turban.
Yep.
My parents can't find the turban. I can't go look in the house in New York. I live in Florida now, so there's no way for me to search. So I think I'm just going to have to buy another turban.
And people mentioned that this might be racially sensitive. Oops, not that.
No.
This.
Cornac. Most definitely. May your budget be slashed. Maybe Cornac. What's going on with See You Relate? As I've said before, there are no formal plans to bring back See You Relate anytime soon, but it will be back at some point. Most definitely during whatever length marathon show there is during Thanksgiving, as that's a tradition, but we're trying to just get News Tonight functional every week at this point and get the podcast back on track, which I know I have not been good about the last month or so.
But hey, you put on an episode this week.
I did put out an episode this week. So if you haven't listened to the podcast, go listen. Let us know what you think of everybody, because we are going to hire a couple new people. Some will appear on that podcast. Some are actually going to appear on this show as part of the panel here every week. So very important to have your feedback on potential hopefuls for the podcast and News Tonight.
Nick's ready for bed.
Nick is ready. Nick, what time did you get up this morning?
3:30.
In the morning?
In the morning.
Now let's talk a little longer.
Let's go to bed.
What do you get for the game? No, we should go to bed.
Nick, as they say, put this one to bed.
Where is Who Hates Tom? 3 weeks in a row. I expect prep from you next week, sir.
Next week.
I expect prep work. I did prep work. I expect you to do prep work. I do for no more Sierra late. Oh, you hate Tom for there not being more Sierra late.
Apparently, huh?
I think the monologue on this show is getting pretty risque. It's getting close to Sierra late.
It's close, yeah.
You guys write in some hate mail? There'll be Who Hates Tom.
There you go. Anyway. Okay. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. As always, we hope you had a good time. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.